My name is Ronnie Sloan. I'm from 60th and Marshfield, the Inglewood area, and I'm the CEO of Housematic Dance Troupe.
Well, I'm the one and only Darnell Payne. Everybody always use my first and last name. And I'm the president and founder of the Untouchable Unity Dance Troupe that's now in retirement.
Okay.
My name is Juan Frazier, also known as D Magic Juan, and I am the founder, executive director, and national president of House Arrest 2 Championship Dance Team, Incorporated.
Okay, right now we got Eric blessing the stage, CEO and founder of Total Impact.
We started at 6040 South Marshfield in the backyard of my mother and father's home. Our first routine was made off of When Doves Cry from Prince the Purple Rain.
That's the complicated question, and that's the question that everybody always get funny about. I've been in a lot of groups. When breakdancing was out, I was in Chi-Town Rockers. I was a breakdancer, up rocker, that type thing. Then when in '83, we started a group called Together We Jack. Together We Jack broke off because the West Siders hated the South Siders because they said that we were so snooty. So I allowed TWJ to take the name back out west, and we became the Untouchables. Got into a fight with the vice president of the Untouchables. He made up the name, but everybody was following me and wasn't listening to what he had to say. So I ended up having to start another group exclusively out south, and that was in '84. But we weren't a footwork team. We weren't a house track dance team. The first song that we danced off of was Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. Oh, I feel like somebody's watching me. We danced off of that, and we danced off whole songs. Like, the song would come on, and we would dance throughout the whole song. We were one of those groups at the town shows that's what we did. You know, we would choreograph and do that.
We are from the south side of Chicago, originally Calumet Park, Illinois, the Wild Hundreds, and we started in 1994.
I came from Housematic, House Arrest, then Total Impact. Basically, we started in '95, '96. We were actually the break off from House Arrest 2.
So who came up with the name Housematic?
A guy named Darrell did. We used to all go out to Markham skating ring. That was what everybody did around that time. That was 14, 15, 16 years old. It was something we did every Friday night. But one particular Friday, he didn't want to go to Markham, he wanted to go to the show. So we were searching for a name at the time for the group that we had started, about 7 or 8 of us. We had searched for like 2-3 weeks. So on this particular night, we didn't want to go dancing. I mean, we didn't want to go to the show, to the theater to see a movie. You know, he was the next day, that Saturday, he got the joke with us, calling us, y'all some Housematic, blah, 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 y'all Housematic, all y'all want to do is house dance, house dance, house dance.
Right.
So every time he seen us, he was Housematic. And we liked it, and it was so catchy that we kept it and we ran with it.
But
Okay.
when we hooked up with the Alphas, a guy named Michael Simmons from Alpha asked us to perform at Chicago State. And by then, I was trying to be so professional. The name of our group is the Untouchable Unity Dance Troupe. Too long. Y'all, you fight you. And that's how our name got started. Real talk. He
Okay.
got our name that day. We laughed about it, we joked about it that night, but it really made sense, you know what I'm saying? So on all our legal documentation, it's always been stated the Untouchable Unity Dance Troupe, incorporated the first time in 1984, and then it changed to the UFIU in 1989.
Okay.
So we were searching for a name. I hooked up with some guys from school. We were in 7th grade, and we were searching for a name. And all these names had all these, I think I was overthinking it, because the original names we were coming up with were like Dimension X, and the X was for Malcolm X, and we was called B5P, Black Phi Proud, because we just really wanted to show everybody we was black, and we was really into it. The Public Enemy
Right.
was like a big deal, so we was whole with the conscious movement, you know, because that was instilled in me, and, you know, we were overthinking it.
Right.
House music was it.
Right.
And so, going to Markham, we start running into groups like UFIU, Housematic, Theta Phi House, Beta Phi House. We figured out that it's a trend, and all these groups are calling themselves house something. And so a term that we used to use was called house arrest, and it wasn't anything to do with legal or anything like that. It had to do with the control that house music had over our lives. Like, man, this house music got me under arrest. I'm under house arrest. And that's where it started from. So when we were thinking of all these different names, one of the guys, his name was Horatio Scott, rest in peace, he one of the 4 founding fathers of house arrest. He came up with the name House Arrest. And we originally called ourselves House Arrest, and that was our name for like 7th and 8th grade. We were just a little neighborhood team, didn't go anywhere. We danced to do talent shows at junior high school and go to Markham Skate Rink. And when we went to high school, then House Arrest was over. We called ourselves House Arrest here and there, but House Arrest was over. A few years later, I danced with a few groups around the city. One of them was called House Squad. They were like a branch off of House-O-Matic. And then we officially came up with House Arrest 2, and that's the moniker we decided to stay with, was House Arrest. But it couldn't be House Arrest because I wanted to pay homage to the fallen member, Horatio Scott. So it became House Arrest Part 2, the lockdown. That was the original name. We dropped the lockdown in the part.
Right.
It just became House Arrest.
Okay.
Okay.
So the impact came because of the simple fact that it was a point in Juan's life where he kind of drifted off from house arrest too. So Ricardo, you know, went on as like kind of the acting president. I went on as the acting vice president. So from that point, Ricardo kind of took the group in another direction that I wasn't really feeling. And Juan came back at that point. A lot of things that a lot of people don't know is Juan was part of Total Impact too.
Yeah, that's
For
true.
a couple of days.
That's true.
But
So you were CI?
right, Total
Okay.
Impact started in Juan's mother's house.
That's
We
correct.
created at first it was called Total Package because we had singers.
Wait, hold up. So y'all name was called Total Package?
Yeah, it was total. It was no. It wasn't the name. That was the name that was being discussed. Was
No.
Total Package because we had the whole Total Package, right?
Right.
So, but at that point though, you know what I mean. Somebody was like, man, let's just make an impact on it. So it went from that point to Total Impact,
Okay.
and it all, like I said, started at Juan's mother's house.
Right.
still.
Right.
With the meeting, it was a big meeting. It was a big heated meeting. But from that point, House Arrest split. From House Arrest 2, we formed Total Impact.
Okay, right now, we have 2 of the Chicago industry grandfathers. They laugh about that, but
I love it.
2 of the Chicago industry grandfathers and 2 of the Chicago industry fathers, okay? We have, coming from the right, we have Juan, CEO, president of House Arrest 2, founder of House Arrest 2. He's a father. We have Ronnie Salone, CEO and founder of House-O-Matic. He's a grandfather. We have Darnell Payne, CEO and founder of UFIU. He's a grandfather. We have Eric, CEO and founder of A Total Impact, who is a father. Okay, now I just want to let everybody know that I reached out to everyone. I reached out to Marcus to come here because I feel that Marcus is actually a grandfather too. I want to talk to Rain because he was from the west side. I reached out to him. I also reached out to Reese. Reese is actually a father too. So I reached out to everybody so everybody know that this is going on tonight, okay?
We were the first peace treaty. Let's just keep it real. House-O-Matic at the time, where most people identified them as GDs, or folks. And most people was in UFIU was Vice Lords and Stones. So nobody ever understood how, as Black Stones and Vice Lords, we were able to go down into straight GD areas, and we were protected by House-O-Matic. House-O-Matic didn't let anything go wrong. But then GDs were able to come down here on 87 to the Hummingbird, where it was all the moles from Foster Park, and we protected them.
Right.
And we told them to bag up, because these are people, regardless of what gang affiliation or whatever, we had to look out for each other.
Exactly.
I think the bond that came closer between me and Ronnie was, the stuff that people don't understand is, there's no book. There was nobody before us to explain to us, or for us to talk to. We could only talk to each other. We
Right.
could only compare problems, what he going through in his group, well, what did you do about this, D? Or, Ronnie, what'd you do about this? You know what I'm saying? Because there was nobody else to get advice from. Like I said, until I met them, I thought we were the only organized dance group like
Right.
that. I thought the same thing. I thought at the talent shows, there was the ballet kids or the little gay boy who had been in ballet with his tights on, that was the competition. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know it was a whole nother group of guys who was on,
Come on, this
girls.
is the stage.
Yeah, okay, well, it was on the bitches. I didn't know it was other people who was dancing to get the approval of the girls. I thought that you know, this was it. We were the only thing.
Right.
So to find somebody else who doing what you doing, it was amazing. We stayed out there, man. Golly, I mean, sometimes I didn't go home. I have been on punishments for like weeks. My mother was very strict. That's what people don't know. My mama, I had to be in the crib. I used to lie at the Hummingbird and tell them, oh man, I met up with this girl, I'm finna go to the crib with her. But actually, I was trying to get to the crib before 11 o'clock. Because my mama would come to the party, J.R. Deontay party. She knew J.R. Deontay. He would get on the microphone with my mama and be like, Darnell, come to the front door, it's 11 o'clock, your mother is here. That's the type of old mama I had.
Right.
So when I realized that Mama Sloan didn't mind us crashing on the couch or whatever, y'all gotta get in here and eat, you know, whatever. We had rules over there, but she accepted everybody in the house. I just wouldn't go home. I knew I was gonna be in trouble. I knew I was gonna be on punishment. So I'm gonna stay out as many days as I can before I go take this butt whooping, you know?
You go ahead.
All right. So what he didn't want to mention is that my mom passed.
Okay.
And so I stepped away from the group. And everything he said, 100% accurate. Ricardo took over, he assisted him. And whatever happened while I was gone, I didn't know. I just knew when I came back, it was anarchy. You know, it was two sides. And Eric was the first one to come to me and say, hey, this is what's happening. We walked the band. And I said, you know what, I'm going with you guys. And so he's right. That's when Total Impact started, and I was with them. Ricardo showed up about a day later, him and Keisha. And they said, hey man, this is what's going on. And I had to make up a decision. And at that point, I felt like House Arrest 2, the name itself, that's what solely kept me with House Arrest 2 was the name, because I still felt connected to Horatio.
Right.
And I didn't want to let that go. And so, me being naive, I thought everybody would just get along. And so I went went back practice and said, hey, I'm back with House Arrest. It's all good. Let's get it together. And nobody came back. Nobody came back. And when I say Total Impact had everybody, they had Marlon, softball, Jeff Schneis. He started with me.
Right.
And he was in Total Impact. Kim and Drea, Theo, Twine. Everybody. The only people that was still with me was me, Ricardo, Ham and Cheese, Mozart, and Cece.
Jesus, ham and cheese.
That's it.
And Keisha.
Oh, and, right, Keisha. That was it. So I think the rivalry started because they was doing their own thing and we trying to rebuild House Arrest. We went to Abbey Park. And that's when there was a group called Omega Phi House Practicing. Yeah. And from that group, that's where we got Tish, we got Ivy, we got Tanya, we got all of them. So we rebuilt House Arrest with all new fresh faces. Total Impact like, who the hell are these guys? Y'all supposed to be with us.
That's true.
House Arrest is dead.
That's true.
And we like, no, we here. And it started bumping. And it was crazy because it was like, they was a part of us, but now it was like, now they couldn't stand us. And the feeling was mutual, we couldn't stand them either. And so it was so bad to the point, and this is amazing because Ronnie said right here, it got so bad, we were fighting at shows, we were getting booked together, out in Hillcrest and all kind of stuff, and it was getting so bad, it wasn't only affecting House Arrest and Total Impact. It started to affect House-O-Matic, it started to affect You by You, because then it wasn't 50 groups out, it was like 10. You know what I mean? It might have been 10 groups, if that, and that was it. So it was affecting everybody. All the dance groups is known for fighting. I don't know which one came up with the idea, but the coalition was born.
Yes.
And
So,
Ronnie was like, look, we need to sit down, get this together. He invited everybody to the table. We all decided to jump down, and he threw a concert at the Regal. And from then, everything started to mend.
This is what happened. My dancers, because I was being very, we're not trying to get to drugs and gas, and this, that, and the other. By then, House-O-Matic had already started doing major concerts.
I remember that.
But by then, our people had started switching groups and liking each other and digging on each other. But we had finally got a show to come up that I felt was big. And I'm like, okay, yes. You know, House-O-Matic got all these concerts, we got a concert. I'm walking around like, yes. It was the year that Biggie died. And we had got the Immature concert
oh, I remember
in
that.
Gary, Indiana. I'm skipping the practice. Ooh, you got a concert, I can't wait to tell my kids. I get into practice, I got 6 dances. 6. I had 40 the week before. So I'm like, yeah, well, shit, you know, practice about to start. Where's everybody at? But these 6 people know what happened, but everybody's scared to tell me because I was known to have a slight attitude problem as a president.
Right.
My dad said left and then went to House of Mac. I had that too, though. As another president, you have to realize that if it's that time for that person to move on to bigger things, you gotta let them go.
Let them go.
Yeah, true.
And it took 15 years for me. So I'm not sitting here saying that like, oh, I knew better. You gotta let them people go. I hated the group hopping stuff, and it was really bad for a long time. But then, you know, as I got older, I really realized that sometimes people can only get so much from Darnell Payne. They can only get so much from Ronnie, Juan, Eric, you know, everybody, Tish. But sometimes you gotta be thankful that them people moved on.
Exactly.
Because they were the cancer in your group. Them saying, I'm tired of this stuff. I'm tired of doing this routine every week. I'm tired of
Somebody don't wanna be there.
Yeah, then they tell somebody else, then that person tells somebody else in the group, then you look around, you lose 6 because you didn't cut that cancer
Right.
One
in the
bad
first
apple
place, you know what I'm
spoil
saying?
that whole bag. Really, I feel like back in the day, we got judges that were real judges to judge a footwork contest, a hit roll contest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like
And
that
no.
or whatever.
Yeah, and
Because of
no.
the simple fact that, you know what I'm saying, basically right now, they're just getting anybody that's just straight from audience, and
But you know, I
That's
think
not
the
where it's
disconnect,
from.
I think the disconnect comes in the same thing, the root of all evil is money. Because if you remember, when we did the Brandon Parks, it was 1 or 2 dance downs a year. It didn't cost us anything to get into
that's
it.
true, right?
And we only won maybe $100, $200, and that was it.
But we got the money.
But we got the money. But now groups have to invest so much into being in these shows. Not only do you have to pay the entry fee, but you gotta sell 4 tickets a person and this. So you don't put $600 into somebody else's show, and then if it's not judged correctly, now it's a problem. I don't put this money into your show and you're gonna do me again?
But how's judged correctly? I think, it's my opinion, I judge rough. I judge down to one person's shoelaces don't match the other one. I take off points for it. Because I think if you present yourself, if you get up there and say, I'm presenting myself to be judged, then I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna judge you on everything, right or wrong.
Right.
But then you have people who handpick judges to make sure that Darnell team win because you had advertised on your plug that it was for $1,000, but you was only planning on paying out $300
Right.
anyway. So you make sure that I have had.
You know, I think that's a bunch of crap. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody fixes the shows, you know, I think it's a bunch of
Yeah, people
BS.
fixing shows.
But what,
happens though.
I understand that it happens, but my thing is times different things change. When we pick our judges to sit on our panel,
Recently.
yeah, because when we pick the judges to sit on our panel, I pick judges and I want the judges to get respect. You know what I'm saying? So like when the show is over with, if you didn't win, you didn't win. You know what I'm saying?
Out of a lot of competitions, and I stayed away from all the judges, and I've been asked to judge many of the shows too. But I just stayed away from it so I couldn't be too involved, but when Dane or a few others have asked me to come, I guess they thought it was more fair on my part because I wasn't a part of the dance industry. You know, we kept House of Mag so far away from it because everything that I seen was just so, not only unfair, but everything is segregated. That's what I hate about the dance industry now. You got the footworkers is not dealing with the dance teams.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
You got tough, you got battleground, you just got, everything is segregated when it comes down to the dance groups. Now, in the dance industry, I'm not really getting a full understanding of it because everybody is so segregated and separated.
I think when homosexuality was introduced and opened.
There you go.
I think
So-
when you speak about the homosexuality in the dance industry, that's been for 30, 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
I mean, guys back then was dancing in tights, that was flamboyant, Alex Haley and people of that nature, that was real huge, making millions of dollars dancing, was gay. So even with the footwork, I mean, okay, so who is a straight footworker? How you don't know really who doing what? I mean, I don't understand that.
No,
Right.
I don't think that's
No,
what
Okay,
I'm
now
saying.
I'm flamboyant, I'm trying to help me understand it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But go ahead.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've got from that, and what I think, in my personal opinion, is that we always had gay people in the groups.
Right.
We always
Definitely.
had them, and it was love, but when it was time to hit that stage, the guys danced like guys, girls danced like girls.
Okay.
I think now is they still got the same gay dudes, but now, like what she's saying is, now they come out, they doing the girl routines, dressed up like girls. You know, like we was talking about, everybody cunt, and you know all this other
Exactly,
stuff.
exactly.
And it's outrageous. And
Yeah.
so dudes
You
like,
guys
I
know.
got no positives, because straight dudes didn't have problems with being around gay dudes because it was all family, and they ain't, you know. But now it's just like, hey, we over here and everything is catty and this and that.
It got
and
cut.
it's outrageous.
It got cut.
Yeah.
So,
It got cut. It never made it. It landed on the cutting room floor. But the last dance down that I judged, 3 dance groups in a row came out with that song, Cunt, Cunt, Cunt.
I still got it.
How you know cunt, cunt, cunt? And I was sitting by a mother with her like 3, 4 kids, and she was mortified. Yeah, one of the original founders of the dance group. Oh, no, I'm not taking credit for that shit. That ain't what I did. I think a person has a choice to decide to be whatever they want to do.
Uh-huh.
Who cares what you are? Sexuality is just what it is. It's what you do in the bed, and that's why they call you your privates, because that's what you're supposed to do privately. But if you choose to live your life like that, that's your business. That's your business. But when you're representing an organization and now you want to talk about, oh, we this for the youth and we this for that and this, that, and the other. As a dance group president, I was so glad that when my son decided to dance, he decided to go in a whole other direction with dance. I didn't let him be involved in the Chicago dance scene at all. Because if I ever came around and my son told me that his president said this, or somebody in his group said that, not because of sexuality, but because of the disrespect, I'd have been fighting. I'd have been fighting. So, I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying in the interview about sexuality. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? I've had the most fun with my group, and the ones that did come to me and identify and say, hey, this is what I am, they have been the most fun, period.
Absolutely.
But I think that
Absolutely.
if that's what you're gonna do, represent your group exactly as that.
Right.
Say we are, if you have transgender and you have gay and this, that, and the other, be that. Find your niche and work within your niche. There's a whole other side of Chicago that it's embraced.
Right.
There are shows that it's embraced. But don't come to a family show where you know small kids are dancing off a cunt, cunt, cunt. That's
So,
all I'm trying to say.
I mean, I
Is the
agree.
reason why a lot of parents don't come out and support
Yes.
it?
Yes, and listen, that's a whole lot of reason why the parents don't come out and support the
Or
the
let
show,
the kids join the group.
or let them join the group.
I
What
think
about you?
A lot of the dancers back then had so much going on, though,
Yeah.
that the members wanted to be a part.
Yeah.
See, not because you was the best dancer that you was already had a permanent slot you was gonna dance.
Right.
Though if you was disobedient, then you just wasn't gonna dance. But we didn't have a lot of disobedience.
Right.
Because the people knew that if they was disobedient, not only would they get jumped on going to the bus or get kicked out of rehearsal, but they wouldn't dance at the next big thing, the next big show. They wouldn't dance. So I mean, they wanted to be a part. And they knew it wasn't accepted to be running from group to group to group. A lot of people that left UFIU and came to House of Matic, they stayed in House of Matic. A lot of people that left House of Matic with UFIU, they pretty much stayed there.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't a lot of back and forth and going back and forth back then.
Presidents stuck to whatever they said they were gonna do as far as discipline, they stuck to it. Quick story, and Tish, you are a witness to this. One of my dancers, I don't wanna say his name, we got into it at the house arrest and
By you.
UFIU Lion Show. I suspended him for 6 months. And like Darnell said, he was my best dancer, my right-hand guy. It was killing me. He was gone for 6 months. And when he came back, I wouldn't let him dance in the front for another 6 months. So he had a year of punishment.
Exactly.
That's how it went. That's how it went.
I agree on that because the person that he suspended was my partner,
Yeah.
and I was a first line dancer.
Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't dedicated because he had to move to the back and I didn't. Got me a new partner.
Hello.
See, I'm witnessing that now, though, even with the dance industry now. It's just the rebelliousness is just like it's so crazy now. Because if you're a great dancer, you want practice start at 6, you want to come in at 8 and feel like it's okay for you. Show is Friday, you want to come in Thursday, have been rehearsal all week.
Yeah.
But because you're such this great dancer, that it's okay for you to do this. And it's kind of hard for a person like me that never even tolerated this, that want great dancers to come and be a part of my program. But the great dancers that come in, they've been so
They tank.
catered to,
Yeah.
and it's bad, man.
That's why I won't do it.
It's bad.
That's why I will not have a group now, because I'm not standing for that shit.
Right.
I'm just not having it.
And that's
I
why
didn't have
I'm
it
not
then, and
so
I'm not gonna have it now.
hands-on. I do my stuff nationally. I'm traveling a lot. The Chicago stuff, man, y'all can keep
House Arrest 2, House-O-Matic, Dames Production.
Full
I don't
effect.
know what they're calling it right now. And the Empire. And I'm done. And I'm through.
I would say the same thing, but I would add, GS.
Well, let people know that they're a footwork team.
Go Squad.
Yeah, they're a footwork team. Cause right now we're talking about, when we say dance industry, we're talking about the actual dance teams. We're not talking about the footwork cliques just yet.
Much love, Geek Squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say those crews, I would also like to throw in Boys of Poison.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I say
Definitely.
them is, I'm a little biased because me and Casper went to college together, but they are doing something different than what everyone else is doing, and they haven't conformed to that. They sticking with what they do. Whether you like it or not, it's their own thing.
It's
And
their
nobody
own
else-
thing?
Right, but you know what I mean.
No, you need to
It's like-
tell the world, because the world doesn't know what you mean.
Okay.
First of all, everybody thought that you guys' show was rigged for them because they did the same stuff that someone else did, but kind of switched it up a little more. Oh, no offense to be a Boys of Poison, but I'm just keeping it real what people say about them. Boys of Poison is definitely a different dance team, but when you see what they do from someone else, then it's like, okay, where does the creativity come from? Due to the fact that they're good at doing it, but it still didn't come from them.
Well, I don't have any knowledge as far as them taking other people's routines. I don't know anything about that, and I don't be in the streets like I used to be.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about them taking other people's routines, but just the eye test, they stand out.
Okay.
They're not doing cash and all the cunt dancing and all that. Right? They're not doing that,
Yes, sir.
and for that reason, they're standing out.
Okay.
And they dancing outside Chicago, which a lot of teams are not doing. They, like he said, they wait for the Bud Billiken, they wait for the local dance downs. But whenever House Arrest is hitting the road, Boys of Poison is showing up. I'm like, how y'all even know about this? So it's like, they making moves and they getting out there. So that's why I respect those cats.
The main reason why Total Impact went to straight battling, because of the simple fact that all the performances, House Arrest, House-O-Matic, U5U, K59, it was always a problem with, you took this move, you took that move, or whatever. Back then.
Not from House Arrest.
No. I'm saying back then, when we started seeing it to start to progress.
Right.
We saw it start, basically the trend, we saw it. So from that point, you know what I'm saying, because everybody always said, oh, they really didn't win, they took the move that we did, you know what I'm saying, this and that. Total Impact said, fuck it, I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying, we backed out of that.
If we want to do
Basically.
something that we loved about House-O-Matic, we did shows together with House-O-Matic.
Exactly, right,
That's the line.
exactly.
Or-
House-O-Matic was y'all was the.
We did y'all did House Arrest 2 and U5U. Y'all did combined shows.
Right, we did
Now, if
combined
you do a show
shows.
with House-O-Matic, you the shit.
And that's how you respect.
That's how it was.
That's how you respect somebody's stuff though, by paying homage to them. Saying, I like what you do so much that let me do it with you.
I put the stop sign there. I mean, it didn't have nothing to do with March Madness, you know what I'm saying? But I put the stop sign there so everybody can understand. Like right now, what I did with you guys, as far as the grandfathers and fathers of dance, we here to stop all the BS. We here to stop all the negativity. We here to stop all the lies that's going on within the dance industry. Right now, what we want to do is we want to make sure everybody understand where this came from, who was the first team, who came out. This is why Ronnie is so important. Who came out after Ronnie, who held it down for over 27 years. This is why Darnell Payne sit on the panel. This is why he's so important. Darnell Payne called 3, 2, 1. Everybody shut up. Ain't no fixing their hair or trying to tie a shoe. You're not dancing. I was a witness of it. Juan is sitting on this panel because, honey, you're not going to move anywhere or you're going to get pinched, okay? You have to be practiced on time. He literally had us sitting in a hallway while practice was going on. We supposed to be in the room. You want to try to go sneak out or go say hi to a friend and get a hot dog. Anjanae and Bruce, shout out to y'all. You getting pinched, okay? So these are the things. You got Eric, that's over Total Impact, and it was all about seriousness. First of all, battle. When it came down to battle, Total Impact walked in with their game face on. I remember House Arrest 2 had on all black with our shirts and our numbers on. Total Impact came in, they did Mortal Kombat. Shut it down. I remember. It was all about taking charge of what you had to do. If you left a team, you made a statement. You didn't leave a team to look dumb and have everybody making statements about you. That's what the dance industry is doing right now. A lot of people are speaking and don't even need to be heard. We started the stage, therefore, so everybody can get and understand and know the truth and see the faces of the dance industry.
Let me tell you something. People have other motives for why they did this. They did this to survive.
Right.
They doing this for the little dance group, little money, the little dance down shit. Excuse me. If they didn't have the little dance downs and the little kids dues, they wouldn't be able to survive. They couldn't eat.
Exactly.
We wasn't worried about no money, man. Our dues was $1. Every time we come to practice, $2 because we had to get a part, $12. You know what I'm saying? Or we had to get some T-shirts back when you used to iron the letters on from Walgreens. You putting your name on stuff. So it's like, man, dance group presidents now, and I have mentored and I have sat down and talked to them. I have invited them into my home. I've invited them to my job for advice. It's too much of a scam now. It's too much of a ticket sale, cheat you out your stuff, not have all your money to reward you at the end of the show, run out the door before the show is over so they ain't got to pay your money. Bullshit.
Right.
And they're not holding their dancers accountable. My best dancers used to get in trouble. I used to be like, man, I need them for this show. But if I don't stand by my word, everybody gonna run over me. So I have done major shows with the bottom dancers. My top dancers wouldn't come to practice on time. They wouldn't bring their stuff. I don't care what happened. You can't dance.
Right.
And I'd be heartbroken like, God, I can't believe they messed up my show like this. But they still couldn't dance.
Right.
There's too many motives, ulterior motives to a president now. You know what I'm saying? And it's never going to be right. It's never going to straighten out until people get back to really why they're doing this.
Right.
If you think that we just a bunch of old guys and this stuff only ran true then and not true now, take a look at yourself. Take a look at your group. Ask yourself, have you accomplished what any one of us has? And if the answer is no, then obviously it's something that we know what we're talking about. It's obviously something we did right and continue to do right. If the answer is yes, and I don't believe you're going to say yes.
I don't believe in bashing. I
I'm not
believe in
bashing.
advancing, basically. You know what I mean? We're not doing nothing but trying to help the new school get to where they really need to be.
Strictly. So right now, once again, we have Juan, House Arrest 2, CEO and founder, a father. We have Eric, CEO and founder, Total Impact, another father. We have Ronnie Salone, a grandfather of House of Matic, 6040, one of the top promotional companies that's out right now. We have Darnell Payne, CEO and founder over UFIU, also mentor over the Chicago dance industry because Darnell Payne have been here. He's still been in the industry even though he hasn't been running the team, but he's still been here to mentor and he's still been here to sit on these panels and let these kids know what's going on as far as within the industry. Right now, Chicago, you have seen and heard from the four greatest men that have walked the face of the earth to me in my life, hopefully in your life. If you guys don't understand and don't respect these guys after this interview, then I really don't know what to say. A lot of teams that's a lot of teams as presidents, CEOs, and not just friends with each other. You need to take what you heard tonight. If you got any other questions, please hit us up on the stage or whathaveyou.com. Also the Stage TV show, the page. You can also comment under this video and we will definitely answer you back. Is there anything that you guys would like to say to the Chicago industry before we cut out?
I would like to say first thanks to Tish and 3D and Empire for being an inspiration even to me and House of Matic now coming back to the forefront, you know what I'm saying, even be a part, you know, shouts out to you guys. I do want it to be understood throughout the dance industry that Letitia Waller, Loco, Mama Sherry, Darnell Payne, Reese, Juan, people like Eric, me, myself, Dane Campbell, a few others. We have set a standard for the dance community. And what we have that's so different than what others have is we believe being a part of Chicago legacy. We have a legacy when we leave here. I think forever in the dance history of Chicago, what's different than what dances is doing now as far as with us. we will always have our story told, man, and go down in history with Chicago
Mhm.
dancers. Not
Yeah.
just known as a dancer, not just known as choreographers, but being known as strong leaders.
It's true.
And that's the great thing, and I was just telling Loco that we would go to the grave, and our story will still be told for years
Exactly.
to come. And that's
Exactly.
something that these dance groups should be inspired, these dancers nowadays should be inspired to take on that and leave here with a legacy.
Exactly.
There are too many dancers that have not accomplished their high school diploma and or GED. So if you are between the ages of 16 and 21, and you do not have your high school diploma, please go to www.applytoyccs.com. Pick Sullivan House as your campus, and you can also call Sullivan House and ask to speak to Darnell Payne. I am the dean there, and I will get you in school. We are enrolling students now for high school, so if you need your high school diploma, get at me on Facebook or whatever. and I
If you
will-
need help with your crew, holler at me. Hit up House Arrest Tour, ha2nation.com, Twitter, ha2nation, and Facebook, ha2nation. Holla at your boy.
Exactly.
I ain't doing all that influence entertainment Facebook.
Hey, Raindrops, the story. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go
Hey,
ahead.
Raindrops, the story of HA2, the documentary is out. People that's here, I got copies for people, so it's all good. Pick it up as soon as possible.
And it's nice, I like that, man, that's a great job.
Appreciate it. Featuring Darnell Payne and Ronnie Sloan.
Exactly.
I didn't make the cut.
Oh my God. Okay, so maybe one day we can get an uncut version of the
Right,
dance
right.
industry, like what's going on. Maybe. But right now, thank you guys.